Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Teachings of Queen Kunti. We are on prayer number 8. Let there be calamities. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 8, text 25. Vipada shantu ta shasvat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yatsyad apunar bhava darshanam. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So Kunti Maharani, she's saying, earlier we were reading how many difficulties they went through, how many difficulties they are going through, and yet she's saying, I wish let all these difficulties come happen again and again. All these dangerous situations happen and again. Why? Because that means we will see you again and again. And by seeing you, what's going to happen? We don't need to take another birth in the material world. We will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So, reading from the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, generally the distressed, the needy, the intelligent, and the inquisitive who have performed some pious activities worship or begin to worship the Lord. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that 4 kinds of pious people approach me. 4 kinds of pious people. Those who are in distress, those who need some, need something, those who are intelligent, those the ones in knowledge, and the inquisitive. So all these 4 people and who are pious, they will approach me. So others who are thriving on misdeeds only, regardless of status, cannot approach the Supreme due to being misled by the illusory energy. But someone who's not pious, he will not think of approaching the Lord. He will not think, he'll say, why should I approach the Lord? He does not regard him as the Lord. So he's not going to approach him. He thinks he can do it himself. So, and that is the covering illusory energy of Maya Devi. Therefore, for a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So we can see those who are pious, and when we need something, then, oh my dear Krishna, please help me, please save me. It's natural. Krishna himself is saying it. But if we are not pious, we are not going to be thinking of him. So constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death. We are all trying to see, well, some people are trying to see what is liberation. How can I get out of this material world? I do not want to take another birth again. And so what is the easy method? Constantly remember the lotus feet of the Lord. And that's how we can prepare not to take another birth again in this material world. Therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation. So when the distress comes, when the situation comes, which we feel is beyond our control, then what do? We call out to the Lord. We take shelter of the Lord, we remember him. And that means we are preparing not to take birth in this material world. We are preparing for liberation. One who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nations, can achieve liberation as easily as one leaps over the holes made by the hoofs of a calf. Such persons are meant to reside in the abode of the Lord, and they have nothing to do with a place where there is danger in every step. So this material world is padam padam yat padam. Brahmaji says in Srimad Bhagavatam, this material world, there is danger at every step. At any moment, anything can happen. And what is the guarantee of anything? At any moment, we could stop breathing. At any moment, there could be an earthquake. At any moment, anything can happen. But one who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and these lotus feet of the Lord are considered as a suitable boat. This material world is compared to an ocean. So to cross the ocean, we need a boat, a ship, a suitable boat to cross the ocean. Depends on the size of the ocean, no? So this material world is a huge ocean, and the lotus feet of the Lord are accepted as a suitable boat to cross over this ocean. And it is so easy that this whole ocean becomes as tiny water which is contained in the hoof print of a calf. A calf is so small, then its hoof is so small. So the water which is inside it is so little. So this whole material ocean gets reduced to this tiny, tiny water. For who? For one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So for one who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, it's very easy to get liberation, to cross over this material world. And then such a person, where do they go? They live in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is the Lord's abode, Krishna Lok, Golok Vrindavan. In the spiritual sky, there are many planets. Just as in the material sky, there are many planets. In the spiritual sky, there are many planets. The highest planet is Krishna Loka, Goloka, where the Lord stays. So one who takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord lives there then. No more, no need to be in the material world anymore. This material world is certified by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita as a dangerous place full of calamities. Full of dangerous place, full of calamities. Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita. He's saying that this material world is a dangerous place, full of calamities. Less intelligent persons prepare plans to adjust to those calamities without knowing that the nature of this place is to be full of calamities. We might try to fight the calamities. We might try to fight, but they keep coming more and more, keep coming and coming. So what shall we do? What shall we do? We should try to see how can I make a permanent solution to it. So does it mean that I should do nothing to maintain the body? No, of course, we need to maintain the body. We need it. We need to maintain the body. But with the understanding that I'm not this body, I'm inside this body. So let me get out of here. They have no information of the abode of the Lord, which is full of bliss and without trace of calamity. So many of us don't even know that there is a spiritual world, that there is Krishna Loka, and that I can go there. And over there, it's only happiness. There is no wars, there's no pandemics, there's no disease, there's no death. It's only enjoyment there, only happiness. So the duty of the same person, therefore, is to be undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances. So we should try to understand, this is the nature of this world. That's how it is. I will finish one problem, another will come. I'll finish one, another will come. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortunes, one should make progress in spiritual realization, because that is the mission of human life. So what is the mission of human life? The mission of human life is that to revive our original Krishna consciousness, to understand that I am a part and parcel of Krishna. I am not this body. So I do not need to be continuously taking on one material body after another. Let me go back home, back to Godhead. The spirit soul is, so we should take out some time for that. We need to allocate some time to for our spiritual realization. As we allocate some time for our maintenance of this body, we need to allocate some time to for ourselves, our soul. The spirit soul is transcendental to all material calamities. Therefore, the so-called calamities are all false. Now, we are spiritual. We are inside this material world. Everything what is happening is actually happening to the body. It's happening to the body, but because we are inside here, inside this body, and because we understand ourselves to be the body, we are always full of anxiety. And we can't artificially say, oh, well, fine, that's okay. So I'm the soul and I'm not the body. But it's not, it can't be artificially done. You know, we identifying ourselves with it. But the true thing is that we are the spirit soul. We are the spirit soul. So what is happening? So the soul is always Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. So how can it be miserable? So it's miserable only because we are inside this body right now. Because we are inside the body. So a man may see a tiger swallowing him in a dream, and he may cry for this calamity. Actually, there is no tiger and there is no suffering. It is simply a case of dreams. You know, when we dream, we might dream, oh, there is a tiger, and we might start screaming. But it's a dream. But we are still screaming. Why? Because we are inside the dream. And so it's very real. The tiger is there, it's gonna eat me up. Because we are inside the dream, it appears very real, but actually there is no tiger, it's a dream. So similarly, this calamity is compared to that. This calamity is compared to that. This material world is real, it's not false, it's not imaginary. And we are very much here inside this material world. We are very much inside the body. But what is false is to think that I am the body. That is the false. That my original position is that I'm the body. That is false. What is reality is that I am a spirit soul. I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. In the same way, all calamities of life are said to be dreams. If someone is lucky enough to get in contact with the Lord by devotional service, it is all gain. So by good fortune, that's why I said, if someone is lucky enough to get in contact with the Lord by devotional service, it is all gain. Contact with the Lord by any one of the 9 devotional services is always a step forward on the path going back to Godhead. And so Lord Caitanya, he came, he's Krishna himself, he came to give us this Hare Krishna mantra, hearing and chanting. The 9 processes of devotional service begins by hearing and chanting and remembering. And Lord Caitanya came to give us this process. Hear about Krishna from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Chant the holy name, and in this way remember him. And so it is said, if we are able to do that, then we are lucky, we are fortunate. Why? Because we are taking a step forward on going back to Godhead. We are gradually, we are going back home, back to Godhead. So in this very interesting verse, it is described that vipada, calamities or dangers, are very good. If such dangers and calamities remind us of Krishna. So this is a verse from Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Text 8. It is Lord Brahma speaks this verse in the Brahma Vimohan Lila. Tatenu kampam sumakshimano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam. So what is he saying? How does a devotee receive dangers? There must be dangers because this material world is full of dangers. If we think there's not going to be any danger, then we need to go back home, back to Godhead. As long as we are in this material world, there will be dangers. So how does a devotee receive dangers? How does a devotee do? So, but foolish people who do not know this try to avoid the danger. Thus, they struggle for existence. Everyone is trying to become happy and avoid danger. This is our material business. Now, what are we trying to do? We are here in the material world. We are very struggling hard to maintain the status quo. It's a hard struggle. It's a hard struggle. Why? Because we are in an unnatural position. We are thinking we are the body, but we continue to do it. That's what material life is about. That's why we are here. We all want to be happy. Each of us want to be happy. None of us want to be in a dangerous position. So we put all our energy and efforts in that direction. Everyone is trying for atyantikam sukham, ultimate happiness. A working man thinks, let me work very hard now and put money in the bank so that when I get old, I shall enjoy life without working. This is the inner intention of everyone. So we all say, okay, let me save up for the old age, then I will retire. I don't need to work. No one wants to work. As soon as one gets some money, he wants to retire from work and become happy. But that is not possible. One cannot become happy in that way. It's not that only if we have sufficient money, then we will be happy, because then the richest people would be the happiest people. It's not that we don't need money. We need money to maintain the body. That's not what Prabhupada is trying to say. No, we need money to maintain the body. We are very much inside the body. But the inner happiness, that bliss that we are looking for, that the soul is searching for, how do we get that? Only when we connect ourselves to Krishna. Only when we connect ourselves to Krishna. So this is here Kunti Devi speaks of Apunar Bhava Darshana. The prefix means not, and Punar Bhava means repetition of birth and death. The real danger is the repetition of birth and death. That must be stopped. So Kunti Maharani is saying, what's the real danger? Anytime we might die, and then again we have to take another birth again, and then the whole cycle again starts. So the material world is full of dangers. Padam padam yat vipadam. For example, if one is on the ocean, one may have a very strong ship, but that ship can never be safe because one is at sea. At any time there may be dangers. We might say, I'm on a really big ship, what's going to happen? But we know the Titanic sank on the very first voyage, and there were many important people on that ship. And they all left their bodies, It was a huge ship. Nobody thought that it could sink. But there is danger at every step. So danger is there. Why? Because we are in a dangerous position. This material world is a place of danger. Any moment we can leave the body. Therefore, our business should be to cross over this sea of danger as soon as possible. So this material world is compared to this ocean. And because we are in this material world, this ocean of the material world, at any moment, we can die, we can leave. So what shall we do? We should understand, we should cross over this ocean, this material world. As long as we are at sea, we are in a dangerous position. However strong our ship may be, that's a fact. But we should not be disturbed by the sea waves. Instead, we should just try to cross over the sea and get to the other side. That should be our business. So Prabhupada is saying, we are at sea, there will be waves, there will be dangers. Just focus on cross the ocean, cross this material world. As long as we are in this material world, there must be calamities, because this is the place of calamities. But even with calamities, our business should be to develop our Krishna consciousness. So he's saying calamities will come, they'll go, we will maintain whatever we have to do with the body, we will do it. We will take, that is there in us. We will do it. But we should develop our Krishna consciousness. We should develop our Krishna consciousness. Why? So that after giving up this body, we can go back home, back to Krishna, be liberated, cross beyond this material ocean. No need to come back to this material world again. And that is the proposal. And that's the easy way, the most sublime and the easiest method that is there for us in Kali Yuga. Begins by hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting to revive our Krishna consciousness. Chant Hare Krishna mantra, hear from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Is that okay? Any questions or comments? So we'll stop here for today. Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.